All right, welcome back. We start from the home front where the Nigerian League organizers has again shifted the date for the 2020-2021 Nigerian Professional Football League season to new dates of December 13th, 2020, subject to confirmation by the AGM of the league management company that holds on Wednesday in Abuja. The Minister of Youth and Sport Development. Let's talk about the league, the Nigerian Professional Football League. It was shifted to December. It was shifted to this weekend. Last weekend, I beg your pardon. We're waiting for the league to kick off, only for the league management company to come up again with a statement saying that they do not have the official date for the league. Now we have a new date, which is, they say, is tentative. So, Ms. Blessing, what do you have to say on this matter?
I'll start with the fact that the NPFL, especially the Nigerian Football League in Nigeria, is key. Football is key because everybody, look out for football in Nigeria. In Nigeria especially, I want to believe that this particular date that is set will obviously, games will kick off as expected because people anticipated, players are expected to commence their league fully. Okay,
let me ask you another question. Do you think we're going to have a date, a fixed date, like this is the end of it, or we're still going to have the league being shifted again?
Well, let's expect that the league is not shifted because obviously there are so many leagues that that's going to go on, especially in December. The Females League, the NPFL, like we're saying it right now. Let's expect that don't shift these dates. Let's expect that because they keep shifting it. It's either in March, they shift it to another later date, and they keep shifting it. So let's expect that they start commence fully, and we get to enjoy the games of football in Nigeria.
All right. What is the implication of the postponement of the league? What's the implication on football development in Nigeria?
Well, looking at football generally in Nigeria, to me, I feel football is the grassroots. Okay, if we have players from the grassroots that we can obviously develop because age doesn't people run out of age. Let me use that. As youngsters, especially, we should start grooming youngsters at this point in time. So they can't, do well when it comes to, playing what they love most.
All right, we're not going to go on any break. We're going to talk about straight to the Flying Eagles camp, where the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Mr. Sunday Dare, has charged the Flying Eagles to make the country proud by winning the competition in Cotonou, which begins on Saturday. Let's talk about the Flying Eagles. They've been in camp for some time now, even though the league has not been active. But I can testify to the fact that the players have been in camp for some time. They've been in camp, and what's your expectation? What is your own expectation? The minister has already given his own expectation. What is your expectation as it regards to the Flying Eagles going into the WAFU Under-20 tournament?
Well, the Flying Eagles have always made us proud. You understand? I'm talking from my own perspective. I've always been very proud with the Under-20 team, the Under-17 team. Coaches have a way of impacting to these youngsters. They are obviously talented players. They are high-spirited players. They are players that want to go out there, and play the game of football. They tend to enjoy it at this stage. So I believe that the WAFU competition is going to be an interesting one for us to look out for.
Okay, do you actually fancy the Flying Eagles taking this one? Due to the level of preparation, they've been training for some time now. They've been together, but then it's not like they've not been playing friendlies. but they've not played this. Uh, should I call it an A-list friendly, because they've been playing, academies, so what's your, how do you fancy the Flying Eagles, in the under 20 WAFU competition?
Well, I think to an extent, the Flying Eagles will obviously make us proud. There, we have stars, lots. We have players that will obviously make Nigerians proud in this competition. So I think we should expect the very best from the Flying Eagles, especially the fact that the game is going to be played, within the neighboring West African country, Cotonou, for instance. So I think they will do us
All
proud.
right, our blessing is saying that the Flying Eagles will do Nigeria proud at the WAFU Under 20 Championship to be held in Benin Republic. Let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll bring our guest to come and talk to you. Don't go nowhere. All right, welcome back. It's still the Grand Sport Center on Grand Sports Extra. Just before went on for that break, we're talking about our guest. We have our guest in the house. We're going to talk about cricket in Nigeria. But then before we go, we meet our guests. Let's give you a brief history of cricket in Nigeria. In the 19th century, the British colonial administrators first introduced and popularized the game of cricket in Nigeria. Nigeria's first international cricket match was actually against the Gold Coast British colony, now Ghana, in 1904. The Nigerian Cricket Association and the Nigerian Cricket Association Expatriate and the Nigerian Cricket Association Indigenous were formed in 1932 and 1933 respectively. In 1951, a joint board of control was inaugurated in Lagos, with each association retaining its identity. 6 years later, in 1957, both expatriate and indigenous bodies merged to form the Nigerian Cricket Association. This name was later changed to Nigeria Cricket Federation in 2006. The 1960s, in the 1960s, the NCF was involved in a movement which resulted in the formation of a sub-regional body. Let's talk about the achievements of the Nigerian Cricket Federation. So far, so good. We have the Nigerian under 19 cricket side, the junior yellow greens, as they call them, qualifying for the ICC under 19 World Cup in South Africa. The ICC Africa Division 1 tournament held in Namibia. Nigeria defeated pre-tournament favorites Namibia by 52 runs, Uganda by 30 runs, and Kenya by 58 runs. Nigeria won the tournament. Let's talk about the men game. The Yellow Greens, the senior cricket team now, went to Kampala for the men's T20 World Cup Asia Finals as the second qualifiers from West Africa, behind neighbors Ghana from their sub-regionals. The African finals were affected by rain, with only 10 of the scheduled 15 games possible, but the rain came with some fortune for Nigeria as they managed to get a valuable point against Uganda and eventual winners Namibia due to washout. Before we move on the show, let's introduce our guest. He's the PRO, the Public Relations Officer of the Nigeria Cricket Federation. His name is Musa Ehizoje. Mr. Musa, you're welcome to GrandeSportsCenter.
Thank you very much.
All right. Before we go, not a lot of people. A lot of people are not followers of the cricket in Nigeria. In fact, before 2019, little was known. Actually, known little to nothing, so to say, was known about cricket in Nigeria. But then the under 19 boys qualified for the World Cup. That was when the talk of Nigerian cricket begin to resonate. But then we have a new coach who was appointed. His name is Asaka Gosinha. I don't know. Let's talk about the coach. What is the motivation behind contracting, a foreign coach?
Thank you very much. Basically, if you look at cricket in Nigeria and you look at all other sports, talking about football and basketball, yes, we can say cricket is not as popular. But if you talk about a lot of achievements that they've been able to gain over the last few years, then you begin to see them in a clearer light. Why do I say that? Especially in the last 3 years, of course, there has been different transition of government, but in the last 3 years, so much has happened in Nigeria that has caught the eyes of the international community, and the appointment of the new coach is just one of such highlights. You have already mentioned the under-19 qualifying and participating in the World Cup. Before then, we also had our women's national team for the first time playing in the World Cup qualifier in Zimbabwe. And of course, our senior men's team also qualifying to play in the World Cup qualifier T20 in the UAE. And there's been a lot of grassroots development program across board. But when you get to a certain stage as a sport, like playing in the under-19 World Cup, it is expected that you do not go there for the first time and that is it. You want to maintain that momentum, you want to stay on top and then begin to have an international presence and an international face. And part of the reason you want to do that is because it gives the sport the credit it deserves at home. And we identified very quickly that for us to stay there, we have to bring somebody who has played at the highest level, somebody who has coached at the highest level, and understands the terrain for which he's coming to work in Nigeria. Of course, we had a lot of applications across the world, but Asanka's appointment was like a match made in heaven. Why will I say that? He played cricket during his time under the conditions we have in Nigeria right now. He played under very poor facilities and got to the top. we don't have world-class facilities yet in Nigeria, so he understands that. And secondly, he believes in the Nigerian project, what we are trying to achieve, which is one, improving our elite and high performance structure, and also serve as a coach mentor for our indigenous coaches to grow the game to help our grassroots. So he fits the bill, and that was why he was appointed to, like we say, get Nigeria to the next level where we can be properly identified with and make a stand at international stage.
All right. Talking about credentials, can you tell us about the credential of the new coach?
Okay, like I said, he's played at the highest level. Yeah. For instance, the highest level means the Cricket World Cup. In 1996, he was a key member of that Sri Lankan side that played the World Cup and the final against Australia, who were supposedly the tournament's favorite. And in that game, the early two batsmen that you would expect to hold Sri Lanka had come out early. Asanka went in and played a masterclass innings, scoring 65 runs in that final against Australia. Is actually a big deal, and that helped Sri Lanka to win the World Cup. And in Sri Lanka, they have an honors where the third highest honor given to any individual, it was actually given to Asanka for that particular feat. And after his playing career, he went into coaching. He has been head selector of the Sri Lankan national team, and he has also been a head coach of the Sri Lankan national team as early as 2017. And he is based in Australia now. He's also a regional consultant coach with Cricket Australia. Or if you want to liken that to football, you will say he's a regional coach with Brazil or Germany national team. In cricket, that is how high he is. And as a matter of fact, his position is well known to the International Cricket Council and all the top playing nations in the world. So the fact that Nigeria was able to acquire his services also highlighted the importance of his pedigree and his class. So he fits the bill by all standards, and he knows that it's not going to be a walk in the park trying to work with Nigeria. And he's dedicated, he's committed. We are also committed, and we're hoping that we can both end up with the same results as intended from the beginning.
All right. Let's talk about the next agenda, the next question on the table. Apart from coaching the national team, what are the other terms of reference for the new coach?
Okay, he's going to be like I said, head the high performance. High performance has to do with skill development, has to do with match management, has to do with planning, it has to do with everything that is at the senior level. But also he's going to form an indigenous structure for our local coaches. What that means is that he's going to bring a template for which the coaches in Southwest, South, Southeast, Northeast, everywhere has a template for development. So you don't have people coaching a particular way, then when you bring them to the center, you have problem. He's going to create that template, understanding the diversity of Nigeria, which has to do with language, which has to do with tribes, and then even weather conditions and all of that. So he's going to come with a top template, and he's going to be like a coach's coach, where he trains the indigenous coaches on how to approach this game from the international level and his international experience. So besides being the national team coach, he's also going to be very pivotal in our grassroots development.
All right, let's talk about plans for the grassroots development. You've been talking about it, we know that, but I want you to further expatiate, the plans you have for the grassroots development of the sports in Nigeria.
Okay, in 2021, actually it was supposed to start in 2020. There's what we call the Accelerated Growth Program. What that means is that the Nigeria Cricket Federation is trying to bring 200 new kids into the sport every year. 200 new kids into the sport every year. We had a program like that, which is still ongoing. It's called the Niger Kids Cricket, where we try to bring 40,000 every year. The Niger Kids Cricket started in 2018. It's still operational, but we are taking it one step further with the accelerated growth program of 200,000 kids into the game every year. And how we intend to achieve this is, of course, we are going to have people we call field officers. They are going to be coaches, and they are also going to act in administrative capacities. Yeah. They will be sent across the 36, employed and sent across the 36 states, including the FCT, for grassroots development specifically. And then they bring all of those development to the center, which is in Abuja, where we can have our database, we can have our fan base increase, we can also create tribal fan base. For example, in the north, you begin to look at localities where you can play the game and associate it with the culture and tradition of that place, so that you can create a tribal fan base in that place. So if you have that across the 36 states, you'll find out that there will be what you call a spontaneous growth from everywhere at the same time. So that is going to kick off in 2021 first quarter. But again, it is one thing to have that accelerated growth program. It is another thing to engage those grassroots players. So we have a national under-17 championship where the coaches can be able to come and showcase their players that they've raised in a competitive format. And then those players can be taken into the under-15, from the under-15 to the under-17 to the under-19, and then eventually the national team. So that is the structure in place for 2021.
Yeah, 2021 is quite a year to look forward to, you know, if you are a cricket fan. But then, what's the plan going into 2021? What's the plan? What should we be looking forward to from the Cricket Federation?
Okay, yeah, besides the accelerated growth program, hopefully we're still looking at all the modalities. The Federation is looking to host 2 international tournaments from the International Cricket Council, and that will be the second time it has ever happened in the history of the sport. First time was in 2018. And one of them is the Under-19 World Cup Qualifier Division 2. And the other one is a West Africa regional event, but organized by the International Cricket Council. And the reason why that is a big deal is because we are beginning to meet the standard the International Cricket Council requires for you to host a tournament of that magnitude, which has to do with facility, your kind of facility, and the popularity of the sport in Nigeria. We are beginning to hit that target. We're also going to have indigenous tournaments. We have the National Men and Women's Championship. That's for the senior boys. We have the National Under-17 Championship. We also key into government programs like the Youth Games, National Sports Festival. And then we have international bilateral series to play with Rwanda, Ghana, Gambia, and Sierra Leone, both male and female. All of those are going to come up in 2021. And then, of course, we are expecting to have a national league and the pockets of state leagues across the country. And for the first time in the South-South, we're going to have a South-South Women's League of 8 clubs. So that's just a bit of so much that we have planned for 2021.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Musa Ehizoje, for coming on the show. We do appreciate your coming.
Anytime.
All right. The lovers of cricket, fans of cricket, you heard him. 2021 is actually going to be a year to look forward to for lovers of cricket out there. Now we need to go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with our sports stories. results from the Champions League on Wednesday. We have Krasnodar against Rennes, and the match ended 1-0 in favor of Krasnodar. We have Sekshir, losing at home 4-3 to RB Leipzig. Then we have Sevilla losing at home to Chelsea 4-0, and we have Borussia Dortmund playing out a 1-1 draw at home against Lazio. We have Club Brugge beating Zenit St. Petersburg 3-0, and we have Ferencváros losing to FC Barcelona 3-0 at home. And then we have Manchester United losing at home to Paris Saint-Germain 3-1. Blessing, which of these results is actually coming as a surprise to you? Is it the Manchester United losing to Paris Saint-Germain, or Chelsea going away to Sevilla, to dismantle Sevilla in Spain by 4-0?
Well, it was quite interesting. It was an interesting Champions League game last night, especially Chelsea, logging it out against Sevilla. We saw how Giroud did it for Chelsea in that game, and is making the news. And also we saw the game between Manchester United and Paris Saint-Germain. I expected a better game from Manchester United, but obviously the loss to Paris. We saw how Neymar scored in that game. He didn't. He took advantage of every opportunity, and to an extent, I would even want to blame Solskjaer in that game, because he saw how the game was going between Manchester United and Paris. I expected Solskjaer to at least talk to the boys, because that's what some coach does, especially with the way the game was going. He obviously was just there, and the last substitute he made was as at the time he was supposed to put Nani. He obviously did not put Nani in that game, and this what's his name has already done damage in that game, so it left Manchester United with a lose. So they have to struggle it out between Paris Saint-Germain and Leipzig, to get a point next game.
Okay, would you put the blame down to the coach, or was it that PSG was really that good on the night, or is it that the coach gave them that easy win?
Oh yes, PSG was good in that game. They played all out, consider the fact that they were playing away from home, and they went all out there to to get the point. We saw how Neymar didn't even give a chance, scored twice in that game, right? Yes, and spectacular performance.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, some would argue that a certain Fred was on the field of play, that he actually escaped being red carded for the fact that he had booted Paredes in the first half. Normally he should be red carded. He escaped a red card, and then he made a number of challenges in that first half. A lot of people were actually thinking Fred, after escaping that red card in the first half, Holigona Social should have changed Fred right from the second half whistle. So what's your take on that?
Well, obviously, if you'd ask me, Fred obviously did something actually wrong in that game, and he was supposed to be given a red card for that nod, but at the end of the day, he was awarded a yellow card. But at the same time, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was supposed to have removed him earlier in that game, not to, in fact, he was supposed to have removed him earlier in that game, so he left him, and obviously, as at the time he removed him, he was, carded again twice. which is not expected of
Yeah,
a
let's talk
coach.
about Chelsea Sevilla. There was actually a record that was broken by Olivier Giroud. Since the history of Chelsea, no player has ever scored 4 goals in a Champions League match. So we have Olivier Giroud breaking that record. Apart from that, Olivier Giroud is now the second player, to score a hat-trick in the Champions League for Chelsea. Now, let's talk about Olivier Giroud. Considering he has not been playing for Chelsea, and a lot of stick has been thrown at him. What's your take on his performance last night?
Well, Olivier Giroud did it for Chelsea last night. It was spectacular. He gave a haul, 4 goals in that match. Little one would have, least expected that Giroud would score all those goals, because there are, other key players in that match that would have, put in 1 or 2. But he obviously, broke the net with that goal, because it's all over social media. People are obviously talking about him, and the fact that even Frank Lampard is also making the news. The fact that he featured him in that game, and he obviously broke records. It was a good one for Chelsea at that point, and they've gained their respective points, and they're actually topping the group.
All right, let's go to tonight's fixture in the Europa League. We're going to have Zoya playing against Leicester City. AC Milan will be taking on a Celtic, while Sivasspor will hold down with Villarreal, and we have Karabakh playing against Maccabi Tel Aviv. We also have AEK Athens playing at home to Braga. We have Lille Metropole playing against Sparta Prague. We also have Antwerp playing at home to Ludogorets. We also have Lask, playing at Tottenham Hotspur, and we have Feyenoord playing against Dynamo Zagreb. We have CSKA Moscow playing at home against Palet. We have KA Ghent playing against Liberec. We also have Red Bull Salzburg playing at home to Offenham. We have Cluj taking on CSKA Sofia. We have AS Roma taking on Young Boys of Switzerland. We also have Molde playing on against Doldak. We also have Arsenal, playing at home to Rapid Wien. We have Slavia Prague hosting Hapoel Beersheva. We also have Nice playing against Bayer Leverkusen. We also have Omonia Nicosia hosting PAOK Salonikia. We have Rangers FC, where we have the likes of Leon Balogun and Joe Aribo hosting Standard Liège of Belgium. We have Benfica playing against Lech Poznan of Poland. We have Granada playing against PSV, and then we have Real Sociedad playing against Rijeka. We have AZ Alkmaar playing at home to Napoli. Now that's that's that for the tonight's Europa League fixture. Blessing. Let's talk about the fixture for tonight. We have Rangers playing tonight against Standard Liège. Rangers' performance in recent times, they are top of the table as far as the Scottish league is concerned. But in Europe, they've also been doing well as well. I think it's as good as, they're as good as qualified. But then one interesting thing about Rangers for me is the fact that we have, about 3 Nigerians playing in that club. We have Leon Balogun, who is a starter, and Joe Aribo, who is also a regular for Rangers. Now, let's talk about Rangers. What's that about this Rangers team? It seems, they have their groove right now. They are blowing everybody away in the Scottish league. Before it was not like that. It was just Rangers dominating. But right now we have Celtic dominating the league. I beg your pardon. But right now we have Celtic actually playing catch up. What's your take on that?
For me, I think Rangers have actually proven they are a good team to go very far in in their league and also in this Europa League, and the fact that I would want to stick to the fact that Nigerian players are also, playing in the competition. So um, um, they have been doing us proud. Aribo is there playing up front, and also Balogun. So it's good that these players are being featured one or always. So they play proficient football, and the fact that they are also doing well their um, for their various clubs, which is a good thing.
All right, our viewers, we need to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with our show. Don't go nowhere. All right, welcome back to basketball now, where we have Nigerian Basketball Federation, the coach of the Nigerian Basketball Federation, talking about uh, uh, the management of Nigerian Basketball Federation, thanking the federal government through the Ministry of Youth and Sports for the support to fund and approve programs which has continued to see the game rise in Nigeria. We saw that the Minister of Youth and Sport, the President of the Nigerian Basketball Federation, Engineer Musa Kida, who actually paid a visit to the Minister of Youth and Sports Development. And then we have the coach, Mike Brown, also revealing that Africa have what it takes to compete with the rest of the world in as far as basketball is concerned, if the federation would put necessary things right as far as is concerned. Now let's talk about the coach, Mike Brown. He's saying that Africa has that capacity, that capability to take on the rest of the world with what he has seen so far. Mike Brown is actually a coach of repute. He has been there, was coach of Cavaliers in 2007. He actually led them to the NBA final, and where he actually recorded the best 66 wins in his first experience as coach in Nigeria. He actually won 3 games out of 3. So you can say that he's somebody who has seen it all. And coming from him, do you believe Africa has what it takes to compete against the rest of the world?
Of course, Africa has what it takes to compete with the rest of the world. If the necessary, facilities are there, the necessary amenities, on ground. We have what it takes. We have players, we have competitive players, we have players that are ready to play the game of basketball, So especially the Tigers, they've made us proud, especially in the past. So I believe that Africa have what it takes. Major competitions, we have been winning. Africans have been doing us proud in major competitions. So we have the physique, we have the players, we have the spirited, players to. We have the players that has the ability, to play the game of basketball in Africa.
Yeah. How do you rate Coach Mike Brown's performance so far, considering we still missed players who are playing in the NBA and in Europe, and with that, we were still able to win 3 games out of 3. So what's your rating of Coach Mike Brown so far, as head coach of the Nigerian men's basketball team?
Well, Mike Brown is an experienced coach, so to say. He has so much experience, especially with the likes of Lakers and international experience. So I think him, coaching the D Tigers is going to open an avenue where there'll be an international recognition or international experience for these D Tigers. I think he's going to, because he has a basic knowledge of football when it comes to
basketball.
I beg your pardon, basketball. When it comes to grooming youngsters. So I believe the Tigers will have this international recognition, and they will go pretty far in various competitions.
All right, viewers, we need to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll give you the Super Eagles watch. All right, welcome back. Now let's go straight to Super Eagles watch, where we have Emmanuel Venice recording an assist as Club Brugge trashed Russian club Zenit St. Petersburg in their Champions League clash on Wednesday night. Charles put Club Brugge ahead in the 33rd minute, while Vance Vernaken added the second goal in the 2 minutes before the hour mark. Dennis set up Noah Lang for the third goal 17th minute from time. The forward was in action for the entire duration of the game. His international teammate David Okereke replacing Lang 2 minutes from time. At Old Trafford, we have Odion Igalo being handed a cameo role in a Manchester United 3-1 home defeat to French club Paris Saint-Germain. Igalo replaced Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the dot of the 90th minute. Then we have Azubuike Kechuku is thrilled to be back on the pitch again after spending time on the sideline due to injury. The Nigerian international returned to action in Istanbul, a 3-3 draw against Denizlispor, and it felt so good to be back for the young man. Azubuike has made 18 appearances for Istanbul since linking up with the club from Egyptian club Pyramid. The former captain of the Nigerian Olympic Eagles missed many part of his club's campaign in the UEFA Champions League and 9 league matches. Let's move over to the next one. Leicester City manager Brendan Rodgers says Wilfred Ndidi is set to make his long-awaited return after being sidelined with injury. Rodgers made it known through a press conference ahead of Leicester Europa League fixture against Ukrainian side Zorya. Ndidi has been out of action after sustaining injury in Leicester's 4-2 home win against Burnley in September. Speaking ahead of the game, Rodgers, who hinted about the possible return of Ricardo Pereira and Skagla Soyuncu, confirmed that the forces will be boosted by the return of the players. That's the much you can take on Super Eagles Watch today. We need to go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll do our closing formalities. All right, welcome back. Unfortunately, that's the much we can take on Grand Sports Center. Today, I remain Austin Arome, and with me, Blessing Bassi. Thank you for coming to the show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right, viewers, that's as much you can take. Unfortunately, I'll see you tomorrow. I remain Austin Arome.